Hello neighbors, welcome back to Ponderosa Garden Adventures. Today we are heading into the last week of spring, so I thought I would take you on one more update of what's going on here at the Ponderosa before we head into summer. Yes, it's coming, hang in there. So I'm going to begin here in the pineapple patch. We'll do pineapples, pumpkins, and pears, oh my. And I'll start with the pineapples. As you know, if you've been watching my other videos, we have two pineapples growing. One right there, and one way in the back there. And I'm going to do a close-up of them. But again, this pineapple patch here is the result of years and years, 3 or 4 years of effort of just splitting pineapples. I'm going to grow, take a pineapple, split off the shoots, replant those. In fact, this one right here is a pineapple that I transplanted earlier this year, and I did a video on that, and I found out that the roots were all tangled up in a ball, so I split them off and replanted them, and this one actually grew a pineapple, so that might become a strategy in the future. Anyway, the big news is we have two pineapples growing. That's the first time we've had more than one growing at once. So let me take you in for a closer look and see where they're at. Okay, so this is the one that started to ripen first. And as you can see, it's all done flowering. Let me get in for a close look. You can see the flowers are all dried up. They're all dried up. So it's done flowering and it's starting to look more like a pineapple. You can see the crown, it's bright green, and the rest of it's turning brown and dark green, but as we know, eventually this will go orange and then yellow as it ripens, and it'll also get much bigger. Right now, as you can see, I'm gonna say that is about 6 to 7 centimeters tall, and it's going to get a full like 30 centimeters tall. So it's got a ways to go, but you can see it is well on its way. Then over here, this is one that I planted earlier that was an offshoot of the pineapple we harvested earlier this year. All right, let's have a look at this other one. This is the newer one. And as you can see, it is still flowering. Let me zoom way in so you can see. Look at those beautiful purple flowers. And so this one is in full bloom right now. See, there's the little stamen coming out. There it is. That is a pineapple blossom. Aren't they beautiful? They're very, very tiny. I'll put my finger next to it. That's how tiny a pineapple blossom is. And the whole thing itself is hardly bigger than my thumb. But as you can see, this one's about 2 weeks ahead, and it is considerably larger than my thumb now. So they do grow fast once they're done blossoming. So that's the update on the pineapples. Now the thing about pineapples is they take a long time to ripen. It's beginning of June, middle of June right now, and it will probably be November or December before this is ripe enough to harvest. So hang in there, tune in for updates, and I'll show you what it looks like as it's growing, and I'll definitely show you when we harvest it. They are delicious. They are so sweet and so succulent. So I'll keep you posted on that. Next, I'm going to take you over to the pumpkin patch, and we'll see what's going on over there. All right, well, I am out in the pumpkin patch now, and some interesting news. I just harvested my first pumpkin. This was sitting right here, and I noticed this pumpkin just showed up a week ago, and it's already turning colors. Usually they don't turn orange until they're ripening. So I went to test it, and it just came right off. So there it is. There is our first pumpkin, and it ripened really early, and it's really small. So I'm really not sure still what kind of pumpkin these are. It's looking like it's a little bit on the small side, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I do see another pumpkin right here. There's another pumpkin right here. You see my finger right there? Because here's the new pumpkin. So we'll see how this one does. Maybe it will ripen a little bit more. But look what it's doing. Oh my gosh, it's crawling all the way over here. It seems to know what it's doing, so I'm just gonna... Oh look, there is another pumpkin. Look. There's a little pumpkin right there. So that one will be coming along soon. So it's overall, it's doing really well. There's not much else to show you though. It's blossoming. The blossoms only last for one day. They open, they draw lots and lots of pollinators because they're big, and then they close up. So these are already dried off. Like this one came off too. Now you can see what the stamen. I don't know if you can see the detail on that. All right, well, so we're gonna let this pumpkin just go. I think it's doing fine though. Maybe it needs a little more water and a little fertilizer. Let me show you the jalapenos. Oh. So first of all, here's my broccoli and jalapeno, and something's eating the broccoli. Look at that, I'm gonna have to deal with that. Oh, it's eating quite a bit of it. Jalapenos are great because almost nothing will eat these. Only birds can eat these, and they don't. If they have other things to eat, they'll eat something else. But look how many jalapenos I have. Look at all these beautiful peppers, shining green. And I guarantee you these are hot. The homegrown ones, believe me, they are hot. I would love to harvest this, but it's not quite ready. I gotta be patient. Look, I've got one, but I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 others. So 6, 7, at least 7 jalapenos on that one plant. Now let's head back over here. And there, oh look, there's a tomato that already came off. Just one more look at this tomato. So the tomato is making its way up the trellis, and it is just huge. And then I have a couple of artichokes back here. I'm going to give you an update on those in just a second, but this is my biggest star so far. Let's go have a closer look. Uh-oh. Looks like something was digging. That's probably our bunny. Bunny was in here trying to get my tomatoes. So there's one. I'm just going to harvest these now because they're almost ripe. There we go. So we're going to have to harvest them a little before they're ripe this year because the bunny keeps getting them. I always have to clean up after the bunny. Bunny. You can see where he's been hopping around here. Now over here are my beans, and I've been trying to figure out why they're not climbing, and now they're flowering. Not only are they not climbing, but they're flowering. So I think the first beans I planted are actually bush beans, and that means that they're not going to climb. They're just going to get about this high, produce one crop of beans, and then it's done. This is one that I planted later, and this is actually a Kentucky pole bean. You can see it's grabbing onto the stick here, and so that one's starting to climb. So I think I will have some more beans later, but we will have some beans probably by the end of the month from those little flowers. And then over here, oh gosh, this basil's gone to seed. I'm gonna have to probably replace that. I do have stuff to replace it with. And over here, well, here's a pepper, and it's just poking along, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. So that's what's going on back here. Oh, one other thing though. Let me take you around the corner. We have 2 artichoke plants in here. It's kind of hard to see because it's in the shadows. There it is. There is the first artichoke of the season on this plant. So that one, and I'm still not seeing anything in there. All right, well that's it for the pumpkin patch. This is really a lot of stuff going on back here. As you can see, I spent a lot of time out here. in the pumpkin patch. So you can just call me Linus. Anyway, one more stop. Pineapples, pumpkins, and pears. All right, I am now out at the pear tree. This is our pear tree, and as you can see, we're having a pretty good crop this year. There's 4 of them right here, another 4 right here, 2 over here, 2 over there. Are you doing the math? Are you keeping up? 12? And there's a brand new one over here. Look at this. Woo! Now this one's interesting because it's got little red spots, and we see this on our apples too. For example, here's an apple that has the same spots, and it just came off, so I get a better look at it. Same purple spots. But it tastes fine, and the spots don't go all the way through to the flesh. And my theory is that it's cross-pollinating with the burgundy plum. I'm not a botanist, though. I don't know if that's possible, and if that's what would happen, or if it's some other kind of thing. Red spots on pears and apples. Anybody know? They seem harmless. They're just on the surface. When you cut open, there's no red spots on the flesh, and they taste fine. Anyway, let us know. So we've got something like at least 13 pears, and that's pretty good for a tree this size. It's growing very slow. We planted this 4 or 5 years ago, so pear trees take a little longer than plums and peaches. Plums and peaches, there's a litter of 2. So that's it for today's tour. But I am going to, as a bonus, I'm going to show you the plum. Singular, not plural. We have 1 plum. All right, so we have exactly 1 plum this year. It's a beauty. I'm going to zoom in on it. Can you see it right there? It's actually turning now. It's turning from green to purple, so it's just kind of a yellowish pink color. There it is. That's our plum. Looks like it will be ripe in another few weeks, and then we can harvest it and taste it. All right. Now 1 plum on this huge plum tree. That's how it goes sometimes. All right, well, that's it for today. That's my update. I have lots more coming up. Summer's just around the corner, and we post almost every day during this part of the season. So thank you to all our subscribers. We really appreciate you. This community is growing by the day. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. We'll see you next time.